You bought something again, didn't you? Maybe you stopped by a convenience store on the way home and dropped a snack into the basket. Something you didn't really need. Or your phone buzzed with sale notifications and before you knew it, your fingers were moving on their own. Does that sound familiar? In the moment of buying, there's a small lift, a little lightness. But the moment you set your bags down at home, that vague, hollow feeling drifts back in. You wanted it so badly, and yet you're already thinking about the next thing. This isn't about willpower. It isn't about self-discipline. Human beings are, perhaps by nature, creatures who seek. We are satisfied and then we seek again, over and over. And somewhere in that cycle, so many of us quietly grow tired. Today, I'd like to sit with that feeling, the feeling of wanting, and gently explore what we might do with it. Using words spoken over 2,500 years ago, let's think about this together. This story takes place when the Buddha was still traveling from village to village with a small group of young practitioners. One sweltering summer afternoon, the group passed near a farming village in India. Along the roadside, a great banyan tree spread its branches wide, and in its cool shade sat a man, slumped against the roots. He looked to be just past 40. His face was gaunt, his eyes dim. The Buddha stopped walking. He quietly sat down beside the man. "What's wrong?" he asked. "You look utterly exhausted." The man was silent for a moment, then slowly he spoke. 10 years ago, I found success as a merchant. I sold cloth, made a profit, and then started trading spices too. As my money grew, I wanted a larger house. When I got the house, I wanted a carriage. When I got the carriage, I wanted servants. And now, he stared at the palms of his own hands. Now I have all of it. The house, the carriage, the servants. But I don't understand why I feel so empty. I spent years telling myself more, and the moment I had it, I felt nothing. Something new would catch my eye, then that too would fade, and somehow I've grown old in the middle of all of it. The Buddha nodded slowly, then he said, "You are right now beginning to see something very important. The reason you feel unfulfilled, even after acquiring things, is not because you are weak. It is because craving, what we call tanha, does not disappear when it is fed, it grows." The man looked up. "Then what am I supposed to do?" The Buddha glanced up at the light filtering through the leaves overhead and answered quietly, "Watch the wanting itself. When the feeling of desire arises, where does it come from? When you finally get what you wanted, what do you feel? And after some time has passed, where does that feeling go? If you simply watch, something will begin to become clear." The two of them talked for a long while that day. When the man finally rose to leave, there was something in his face, just a trace, but unmistakable. The word the Buddha used in that story, tanha, may sound unfamiliar. In Pali, it literally means thirst. It refers to the intense craving of the human heart, wanting something the way a parched traveler in the desert wants water. In Buddhist thought, this thirst is seen as the very root of suffering. But here is something important. The Buddha was not saying that desire itself is wrong. He never blamed anyone for wanting things. To seek, to reach for something, that is simply part of being human. The problem lies in the structure of craving. When we get something we want, we feel a moment of satisfaction. But that satisfaction doesn't last. Because the moment we feel satisfied, the heart is already turning toward the next thing. The Buddha compared this to drinking seawater. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. The more you acquire, the larger the hunger grows. Getting things doesn't quench the thirst, it deepens it. The path the Buddha offered as a way out of this cycle is sometimes translated as knowing when enough is enough. In Sanskrit, santosha, the practice of noticing what is already here and savoring it with care. This is not the same as giving up. It's not about crushing your desires or forcing yourself to stop wanting. It's simply about turning your attention, even for just a moment, toward what you already have. That small shift, the Buddha taught, can gently ease the thirst. There is one more thing worth holding on to. The Buddha said, "Watch the wanting itself." This is the practice of awareness, of noticing the movements of your own mind. When you feel the pull of desire, instead of immediately following it, you pause for just a breath and think, there it is again, that wanting feeling. I see you. No judgment, no shame, just noticing. That one quiet moment of recognition, that tiny gap of awareness, is enough to begin softening the chain. So how might we bring this ancient wisdom into the texture of our everyday lives? We live in an era unlike any before it, one built almost architecturally to amplify desire. The moment you open your phone, you are met with advertisements tailored precisely to your preferences. Words like limited edition, flash sale, and only a few left are carefully chosen to stir urgency. Scroll through social media, and you are met with a stream of beautiful lives and beautiful objects. And without even noticing, a quiet voice begins to whisper, "You are missing something." This is not a failure of character. These systems are engineered to trigger craving. They are designed to make us feel incomplete. And that is precisely why the Buddha's practice of simple awareness feels so alive and relevant today. Here is something small you might try. The next time you feel the impulse to buy something, before you press the button, wait one day, just one day. During that time, gently ask yourself, do I truly want this? How will I feel after I have it? This is not about being frugal. You can still buy it. The point is to buy with awareness rather than impulse. When you choose something after sitting with it, the object itself tends to carry more meaning. The things we reach for with intention hold a different kind of richness than the things we grab in a moment of restlessness. There is another small practice worth trying, building moments of enough into your ordinary days. In the morning when you wake up, when you sit down to eat, when someone speaks to you. Just for a breath, ask yourself, what is here right now? Instead of counting what you wish you had, count what you already hold. The presence of people you love, a body that carried you through another day, the fact that you are still here. What looks ordinary from the outside often holds something extraordinary inside. The Buddha called this the hidden treasure, not something you need to go searching for. It is already here. We simply haven't noticed it yet. Before we part today, there is just one thing I want to leave with you. Please, do not be hard on yourself for wanting. Desire is not a flaw. To reach for things, to long for something more, that is what it means to be alive. You don't need to empty yourself of all wanting. Even the Buddha never told his students to stop desiring. What he quietly and persistently offered instead was this: notice it. Noticing is enough. You feel the pull of wanting. You think, there's that thirst again, and then you let it be. That is all. That single breath of stillness, that tiny pause can kindle a small, soft light within you. Thank you so much for being here until the end today. The fact that you stopped, just for a little while, and sat with these words, that itself is already a moment of awareness. I hope to walk alongside you again next time.